Ever thought calculus could help you run a business?
Probably not the first thing that comes to mind, right?
Definitely not. But get this. Today, we're diving deep into how calculus can actually transform your business decisions.
Should be pretty interesting.
For sure. We'll be looking at excerpts from an article. It's called Calculus, a powerful tool for business success. And I think you'll be surprised at how practical this stuff can get.
Yeah, it's not just theoretical equations and stuff.
Not at all. It's all about real-world application. We're talking about things like understanding how things change in your business, optimizing resources, getting the most bang for your buck, and even predicting future trends.
Yeah, and honestly, it's kind of funny how we tend to box calculus in, we think of it as this abstract concept.
Like, oh no, not calculus, back to high school.
Exactly. But at its core, it's really just a way to understand, like, how things change.
Which is basically what business is all about, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Customer trends are always shifting. Markets go up and down. Your own needs as a business owner evolve.
It's a lot to keep up with.
It is. And that's exactly where calculus can come in and be so helpful. So there's this thing called the derivative, which is, a key concept in calculus.
Okay, yeah, I remember hearing about that.
And it basically allows us to measure those rates of change I was talking about. It gives us a really precise understanding of how fast one thing is changing in relation to another.
So, like, how fast are sales changing over time?
Exactly. Or, how is website traffic responding to, like, the money you're spending on marketing?
Okay, but how does a regular business owner actually use this? I'm picturing, like, someone just staring at a spreadsheet full of numbers and not knowing what to do.
I get what you mean. It can seem a little daunting at first. So let's imagine, say you're running an online store, right?
Makes sense.
And you want to make as much profit as you can during a big sale, like Black Friday or something.
Every retailer's dream.
Totally. So you've got all this data on, your revenue each day. But if you apply a derivative to that data, it can actually tell you the rate at which those sales are going up or down.
Ah, okay, so it's not just the raw numbers. It's like understanding the trend behind the numbers.
That's it. And that can be so much more useful for making decisions.
Yeah, you're not just reacting to what happened yesterday. You can actually try to anticipate what might happen tomorrow.
Exactly. And that can help you make much smarter choices about your pricing.
Oh, yeah, like whether to raise prices or offer a flash sale or something.
For sure. And also your inventory, like, do you need to order more products to meet demand?
Or even scaling up your marketing if things are really taking off.
You got it. But honestly, it goes even further than just understanding change. Calculus is also incredibly useful for helping us make the absolute best decisions with the resources that we have.
I've heard this called optimization,
Oh, yeah,
right?
that's the one.
Every business wants to do more with less.
For sure. It's all about maximizing profits, minimizing those pesky costs.
Yeah, it's like a constant balancing act.
It really is. And thankfully, calculus can help us find that sweet spot.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Give me an example.
Sure. So let's think about like a local coffee shop. They're trying to figure out how much milk to order each week, right?
Every coffee shop's dilemma, right?
Totally. If they order too little, they risk running out, and customers are going to be unhappy. But if they order too much, it might spoil before they can use it all, and then they're losing money.
Waste is the enemy.
Absolutely. But calculus can actually help them figure out the exact amount of milk to order to avoid both of those problems.
Wow, so we're not just like eyeballing it anymore?
Nope. We can actually use data and calculus to get a precise answer.
I love that. Data-driven coffee.
Exactly. And this same idea applies to, like, much bigger business decisions, too.
Give me some examples.
Sure. So things like managing your entire supply chain, getting all those products from point A to point B as efficiently as possible.
That makes sense. And what else?
Your ad budgets, like figuring out where to spend your advertising dollars to get the most return. And even like for manufacturers, how many units of something to produce, to hit that sweet spot of the highest profit margin.
It's almost like having a secret weapon. Now that we're talking about maximizing things, every business leader I've ever met wishes they could see into the future.
Right. Wouldn't that make things so much easier?
Totally. So any chance calculus can help with that?
Well, it's not a crystal ball or anything like that.
Or darn.
But it can actually get us pretty close. So there's this thing in calculus called integral analysis.
Okay, I'm listening.
And it basically lets us evaluate how things might add up over time, like cumulative outcomes. So let's say you're a startup and you're looking at your monthly revenue, how fast it's growing.
Every startup is obsessed with growth, yeah.
Totally. And you want to predict your sales, for the whole year.
Make those projections.
Yeah.
Impress the investors.
Exactly. So by integrating that revenue growth function, which you can, get from your existing data, you can actually create a pretty solid estimate of how much you're going to sell over the next 12 months.
That's wild. So instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, you can actually, like, model different scenarios and make a plan.
Exactly.
Wow. That could be huge for decisions about, like, hiring new people, making investments, even just your overall growth strategy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, being able to forecast your future with the help of calculus, that can give businesses a serious leg up.
Okay, so we've seen how calculus can help us understand how things change, how to optimize our resources, and even how to get a glimpse of what the future might hold.
It's pretty amazing when you think about it.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a lot less like a dusty old textbook
Yeah.
and a lot more like a must-have business tool.
It really is. And it makes you think about, what challenges are you facing in your business or your work right now that could maybe benefit from this kind of approach?
That's a good question.
Like, how could understanding rates of change, finding those optimal points, or even making predictions give you a competitive edge?
Hmm, I'm definitely going to be pondering that. Turns out there's a lot more to calculus than meets the eye. Who knew it could be so powerful in the business world?
Right.
We encourage you to explore these ideas further and see where a calculus mindset can take you.
Definitely.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me.